Hello everyone, and welcome to this extra example. You found this example either linked in the main lecture for topic 9 in the description of the YouTube video or in the course notes you downloaded for topic 9. Without further ado, I guess let's get started. Terrific. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I just want to give some context as to why we're here and what we're doing. If you remember, we're looking at the topic of plumbing fixtures. And the whole idea behind this topic is hopefully for me to show you how to calculate the number of expected plumbing fixtures for any occupancy in any area so that we prevent what you see on the screen from happening, which is very awkward and uncomfortable. You don't want the occupants of a space from having to wait to use their plumbing facilities. And that's water closets, urinals, and lavatories. Okay, so let's get to this. This is going to be a slightly longer video because I'm going to take my time explaining, I guess, all the steps, hopefully to your satisfaction. And I'm also going to show you how to use the tables in some of the spots in the building code. But let's do this. Let's move on. What is the example we're going to work on? Here it is. We've been asked with this extra example to determine the number of plumbing fixtures. So the minimum number of water closets, urinals, and lavatories that are required for each sex for this building. This building is identified as a flour mill, and it measures 47.8 meters by 37.73 meters. Okay, as you know, based on the steps that I outlined for you in the main lecture, which is linked for you at the bottom in the description of this video, in the video description of this video, the first thing we have to do is, or among the first things, is figure out what this occupancy is. You know how to do this because it was covered in, I think it's topic 2 or topic 3. But the main occupancy for this building is industrial, and specifically F1. Okay. Now we also need to figure out the occupancy, the occupant load, pardon me, of the space, the area of the space. And the area is easily calculated based on the dimensions given to you, its length times width. So 47.8 meters times 37.73 meters gives us 1,803.49 square meters. Then to find the occupant load, we have to combine this area with the appropriate occupant load for this occupancy. And how do we do that? According to the lecture, the main lecture for this topic, are we supposed to use table 3.1.17.1? In this case, yes, because this is not a D occupancy, right? You cannot use that table if the occupancy you're looking for is a D occupancy. Great. This is an industrial occupancy, so we can use that table. So what we do is we go to the table, we scroll to it, we do not go to the bottommost set of rows because that's not industrial. We go to the industrial row and we select 4.60 square meters per person because it's the most appropriate based on the choices we're given for industrial occupancies. Now that we have the occupant load, that we have the area, we can divide the two to find out the number of people, the number of persons that are expected in this space. The occupant load is done by area divided by occupant load factor. So 1,803.49 square meters divided by 4.6 square meters per person. That gives us 392.06 people. Is that the number we use for the expected number of people to use this space? No, right? Of course not. You saw the reason in topic 9, the main lecture for it, but let me repeat it. human beings are whole numbers. So you cannot have 392.06 persons, human beings. You cannot. Human beings are whole numbers. So what we get with this number is that we actually need more. We're expecting more than 392 people. We're expecting 393 because that's the smallest whole number that's bigger than 392. Don't forget, human beings are whole number. Now that we know to expect 393 persons in this space, we need to divide by 2 to divide between each sex. So 393 divided by 2 gives us 196.5 persons. Is that what we use for male and female? No, right? You got this by now. I know you do, because human beings are whole numbers. So 196.5 means more than 196. And the only whole number, the smallest whole number that is bigger than 196 is 197. Just like this. Okay? Okay. We can then move on to finding the appropriate reference. If you remember in step 6, was it step 6? Anyways, it was one of the 6 steps that I outlined, maybe step 4 that I outlined in topic 9. There was a blinking step, right? That I told you, remember this. And it had to do with finding the correct reference for the occupancy. Right? If you remember, there was a remember this, and then a whole bunch of articles, and then you had to pick the correct one based on the occupancy. In our case, this flour mill is an F1 occupancy. That's industrial. So we have to select Article 3.7.4.9, as shown here, as the only appropriate article where to find instructions on calculating the number of plumbing fixtures for this occupancy. Again, if you select any other of these articles, it's a 0. Okay? That's why I'm reminding you, and I know you got this. Great. So let's go to Article 3.7.4.9 and read the whole thing. When you read the whole thing, you are directed to table 3.7.4.9. When you check that table, you'll notice that 197 people takes you somewhere in those rows, right? Maybe let me take a step back. The way that table looks, if we're looking at the same table, it has 2 columns. The left column lists the number of people. So depending on the number of people, then you're going to select the row. The right column is the number of water closets and the number of lavatories in this case. Now, you'll notice that the bottommost row, which is above 100 people, says something along the lines of, if it's above 100 people, you're going to use 6 water closets plus 1 water closet for each additional increment of 30 persons above 100. Now, between you and me, I have a hard time trying to understand, trying to digest what that means. Okay? It might just be me. I think you probably get it right away. But I'm going to try to figure this out, and I'm going to try to explain it to you in 2 different ways. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it the first way, just by using the numbers. Okay? The way you do this is, well, we have 197 for males, 197 for females. That's more than 100. Right? So it goes in the bottom row of this table. So that means that we're going to use 6 water closets plus, well, how many more do we add on top of that? Okay, well, this is how you do it. You take 197 and you subtract 130. Then you take that number, 67, and you divide it by 30, which is the increment of people that is critical. You get a number, 2.23, which tells you how many increments of 30 you have. So what we get is that we get more than 2 full increments of 30, right? 2.23 increments is more than 2. The only whole number that's bigger than 2 and is also the smallest is 3. So we get 3 increments of 30. So it's going to be 6 water closets plus 3 water closets equals 9 water closets, not 6 plus 2. Let me show you another way. What I did as another way is I took the table itself, and you know how it stops at over 100? You can see it in the bottommost row of the table that I just reproduced for you on your screen. The bottommost row for the number of people of each sex says over 100. And then it's up to you to figure what the remaining rows are going to be above that. So what I did is I actually continued all the rows in this table like this. You see what I did? I just went for each increment of 30. And then in the right column, I included the number of water closets then, based on the wording that the building code uses. Okay, so this is another way that you can do it to maybe remind yourself how to do this. Okay, personally, I prefer the table method, so I have exploded all of my tables in my copy of the building code so that I can simply then find where I fit. So for example, in our case, 197 fits somewhere in here. Where does 197 fit? Right here. Make sense? It fits in the 190 to 219. And you see how many water closets that is? It's 9. 6 plus 3. Okay? So there we are. We now have 9 water closets that are required for each of male and female occupants. So we can start figuring out what the answer is going to be to this extra example. So now that we know that it's going to be 9 water closets, we also know how many lavatories it's going to be. And that's because if you look carefully at our table, because you read the whole thing in the table, see at the top of the table how it explains that not only do you get the number of water closets from it, but also the number of lavatories from it. So in this case, because you're using this table, you don't have to calculate the number of lavatories the way that I outline in the main lecture. That's why you must always read everything in whatever the proper article or table or reference is in the building code. So look at that. We now know the number of lavatories. We now know the number of water closets. We're almost there because we can actually call out how many plumbing fixtures we're going to need for female, right? 9 water closets, 9 lavatories. For males, we're not quite there yet because we have to find how many of those water closets can be converted to urinals. We're allowed up to 2/3, not more than 2/3. So what that means is that if we get a number from 9, divide and multiply by 2/3, whatever that number is, we never round up. We always round down if we don't get a whole number, because it's at never more than 2/3. Well, in our case, we're lucky. 2/3 of 9 is 6. That's a whole number. We're good. So that means of those 9 lavatories, 6 become urinals. So what do we get for males? We get this. 3 water closets, 6 urinals, 9 lavatories. Great. We can wrap this up. Therefore, because that's how you always end a question, you summarize what your answer is. The number of plumbing fixtures is, for females, 9 water closets plus 9 lavatories. For males, 3 water closets plus 6 urinals plus 9 lavatories. Great. I hope this example was helpful to you, and I hope that it was okay that I took it a little slower to explain everything. If it was too fast for you, just review the video. It's here for you to review as many times as you need, okay? But one thing that I do want to mention is that I've linked for you also in the description, in the YouTube description of this video, the main lecture, so that you can go and review it if anything did not make sense from here. Furthermore, don't forget, for this topic and any topic in this course, my dear students, homework is your friend. So for this topic, it's homework number 5. And that's because this topic is so new, we need the practice by doing homework. And once you do the homework, compare against the solution. If you're not sure why you don't get the same answer as the solutions, simply make sure to approach me during class time or during my office hours. I want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you. You could have been anywhere else and you're here to view this. I wish you a lovely day, and I'll see you soon.